Welcome to the video, everyone. We're going to play some Rapid. Hopefully we get some good games. Hoping to get birds opening. All right, d4. Let's play knight f6. Play knight f6. Okay, knight f3, e6. Standard stuff. We could definitely play b6 here. Bring the bishop over to b7. Yeah, really nothing to discuss here. This is very, very boring. I can't stand these positions, honestly. Yeah, we'll just wait here. If he plays e4, then I'll play d5 and try to get some tension going. I'll just keep on waiting. Okay, now we're playing d5. It's time to go, knight e4. I think this is a fine French defense. I'm not 100% certain. Yeah, of course the idea is that if takes, we can take with the pawn, and that's completely fine for us. This pawn on e5 normally means that he's going to get some type of kingside attack, but the reason I'm not so worried about that is that I'm covering against knight g5 in all these positions with my bishop here. So this shouldn't be a problem. This should definitely be okay. Okay, there. So this is important. We could try to play f5 here, but actually that wouldn't be good. They would just take with the pawn, and this e6 pawn here would be really weak. Let's just trade here. Play c5 next. I think this is okay. This looks like a French advanced. Looks like a French advanced. Maybe this is a bad version. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess I wasted a tempo with this bishop move. It's going to be hard for him to load up. He should probably play bishop b1 to load up with queen c2. Yeah, honestly, this is looking a little tricky. This is definitely looking a little dicey. Yeah, if bishop b1, knight d7, I don't have time to get my knight to f8 to secure h7, so I would have to push one of these pawns, create a weakness. I don't want to do that, honestly. Definitely don't want to do it if I don't have to. Yeah, if he plays bishop b1, I'm thinking I could take. If he takes back with the pawn, then we could play queen c7 to cover against queen c2. Bizarre stuff. He takes, okay. I'm happy with that. Once he loses this bishop, he's not going to have any kingside attack now. Nothing to worry about now. My knight is a little bit misplaced, but ultimately he has no way to take advantage of it. I'm just going to slowly reroute it to a proper position on c6. Yeah, I said it once, I'll say it again. Like, if he doesn't have a bishop here to complement this e-pawn, he's not going to have any serious attack here. I guess he could try rook e3, rook g3, but it's just, now the attacks are going to take forever. They're going to take him so much longer than normal. All right, a3. I guess he wants to play b4. a3, he's weakening a lot of his light squares, though. I'm not sure if I believe in that. But we could, I always want to play c4 in these positions, but the tricky part is if you play c4, you are locking the game up even more, and then he would have a lot more time to build over here because we have no way to open the center. For that reason, I think queen d7 is a little better. I might implant my queen on a4. If he plays b4, I could even just play knight c7 to reroute the knight to b5 with some pressure. This is bonkers stuff, bonkers chess. That is actually a good move. We'll take. Don't really have a choice. Yeah, we should kick the knight out, though. Otherwise, yeah, if I give him time, he's going to play queen d3. That would actually be very, queen d3 is a very problematic move. We'll play h6 here. If he plays queen d3, I take, he takes, and then I play c4, and I lock his queen in. And I have to be okay there. His queen's locked in. How could that ever be bad for me? All right, knight. I guess he's going to reroute the knight to f4. Let's start taking pot shots at his position here. I could also I could play f6 in this position because the idea is f6 takes, rook takes. f6 takes, rook takes, his knight is completely locked out there. That actually looks fine. I guess my issue though is f6, knight f4 takes, knight g6, he's hitting this, he's hitting this. He's trying to get back in time. I play e4 there. I don't think I have enough compensation. I could also try f5, but f5 isn't really a move you want to make, especially in the French. All right, if we take, I mean, what I'm worried about is queen b5, rook e3, queen takes b2, rook g3. That looks very dangerous, but maybe I can just play king h8 and rook g8. Actually, that looks okay. Yeah, let's go for it. Queen b5. I'm also trying to get my queen underneath these pawns. If I can get the queen on the other side of this pawn chain, I will have really good chances of resisting the attack. Once I lost this dark squared bishop, all of a sudden I have to deal with these attacking ideas. Sorry, I just drank a can of soda, so I'm feeling a little bloated. Had me an old can of Guaraná, the finest drink in Brazil.
Como é bom te ver, você chegou na hora H. Adoro pizza com Guaraná zero.
It's construction day here in Brazil. Lots of noise, lots of movement. Rook e3. All right, man, I'll take. You don't have to ask me twice. I will take the pawn. If he plays rook b1, I'll play queen a2. Do not want to take on a3, of course, because if we take on a3, then rook a1 would not be fun. But rook e2 here, I have queen c4. Yeah, and now that the die is cast, so to speak, he better start playing for an attack here. He should play rook g3, knight f4, knight h5, and try to get this pawn to move. If I play g6, then I'm creating new weaknesses. This is getting very tricky. My queen is a very good piece, actually. Not only did it win a pawn, it's also attacking this rook, which stops his queen from mobilizing. If he plays rook a1, I'll play queen c4. My queen is continuing to pressure things. All right, queen c4. He's going to have some attacking chances, but I think ultimately the fact that I have an extra pawn here. All right, let's play king h8. Am I missing anything? He could possibly take, and then I take with my king. No, I would never be at risk of losing there. I might be at risk of a draw. No, even then, I don't think he has anything there. That's actually very tricky, though. Look at that. Rook takes, king takes, check. If I go king h7, he plays knight g5, and if I take, he's going to have perpetual. All right, here we'll play rook g8. I don't think he has any tricks just yet. Knight f4. Knight g5 would have been tricky. Look at that. Knight g5 would have been very tricky because I can't take there. What is he doing, though? At the end of the day, what is he doing? All right, let's start by taking here. I don't see a threat yet. Am I missing something? Like, okay, I guess he could play rook h3 and slowly start to do damage, but it would take rook h3, queen g5. All right, yeah, that's going to take some time. Like, takes, rook h3, takes, queen g5. Then I could just play queen e4 and I'm defending it this way. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go for it. I guess he's banking on the fact that if takes, queen takes, I'm losing my queen. But if he takes here, I'll just start attacking with rook c8, and already I'm threatening to get a back rank maiden. So much of the health of his attack is determined by whether or not my pieces can get underneath the pawns, right? So now actually queen c2 should already just be winning for me because my queen is getting underneath the pawns. I'll be able to defend from the king side now. But rook c8 just makes more sense. Let's just threaten mate first. All right, rook f1. What am I going to do with this? This knight is a really silly piece. I should probably transfer the knight back to, we should get the knight to f5. If knight gets to f5, it's the end of the game. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That takes a while, but I don't really see what he's going to do in the meantime. Yeah, let's go for it. If he plays rook h3, I play knight c6, queen g5, then I just play queen c2. He still has nothing there. Rook takes, 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 queen h7. Bro doesn't have any tricks. I guess he could try knight h5 with the idea of taking on g7. That's going to take a while, though. Like knight h5, knight c6, he takes on g7, I take on d4, he plays queen h5. That's tricky. But okay, even there I can play queen f4 and I'm holding. It's bizarre. How does this always happen? How do we never get a normal position in these games? Yeah, I'm actually thinking about it. Another idea is knight h5, knight c6, knight takes g7. I have knight takes d4 there, and I'm threatening queen f1 and rook c1 mate. That would be very nice. Yeah, I think dude is in a lot of trouble here. Dude definitely counted his chickens before they hatched. Okay, he wants to take on f7. That's what this guy is going for. Can we take on d4, though? No, he takes on f7. That's tricky stuff. That's tricky business. All right, I mean, I could play knight c6. He takes on f7. I take on d4. He cannot yet do anything there. If he checks on g6, I go king h7. And knight f8, I'm covering that. This is tricky stuff, though. I mean, losing this pawn is a really critical concession because then all of a sudden g6 becomes weak, e6 becomes weak. This knight makes so much more sense here. Knight c6, queen f7, knight d4. I'm threatening queen f1 there, but if he just plays something like rook e1, I'm not sold on what I'm doing. I could play queen c1 there, but it wouldn't... Yeah, that wouldn't be that good. He would even have perpetual in that position. Yeah, this is tricky. I mean, do I have to waste a move with rook g7 or rook c7? I don't want to have to do that, but I think I have to. Rook c7... Well, I mean, objectively speaking, his queen h5 move didn't do anything to help him. He still doesn't have ideas of rook g6. Knight g6 also doesn't work. His queen is even in the way of this rook. Now if he plays rook h3, it's going to even take longer to build sacrifices. Okay, we'll play rook c7. I think this works. All right, rook g4. Bro is taking his time. I don't know what he's doing, though. I guess he wanted to be able to meet queen takes d4 with knight g6, but he's just playing this way too slow, and I'm going to take on d4 soon. I feel like the way that this game is going to end with knight d4 and queen f1. I don't think he's paying attention. Rook h4, okay, I think it's going to happen. He can't, taking doesn't do anything here. He's taking the wrong way. I think he's going to miss it. I think he's going to allow me to take on f1. Call it Grandmaster foresight. I guess you could try, yeah, wow, look at that. I predicted it. That is a nice checkmate. All right, that's a good game. 24-66, we're moving up. We're rising the rapid ranks. Okay, here we go. Playing Dragon 003. I'm very confused. That looks like a Japanese cartoon character, but there's a Brazilian flag there. I have a lot of questions. Japan's an awesome country, though. Japan's definitely a friend of the show. All right, c4. I got this position twice yesterday in the Title Tuesday. I beat Levon Aronian, if I may say so myself. All right, here we just take and play d4. This is great. Bishop is really misplaced here. This is one of the best positions in the entire Bird course. Very uncomfortable for them to play. Already queen b3, I think they're already on the verge of losing. Yeah, this is a lot of trouble. Bro's in massive trouble here. I guess he has to try rook c8. But then I just take on b7. What is Bro doing? I could also even take on d5. He's in a lot of trouble here. He senses it. All right, let's take on b7 here. I guess I'll play knight e7, queen c8. Let's play bishop a6. Let's drill in. We're doubling down on the diagonals. This looks like the end of the game, honestly. How is he going to defend this? If he plays knight e7, I just take on c8, he takes with the knight, and then I play bishop e7. This just looks completely over. I also could have been sassy and played knight b5. There, right, I mean, we could take and then play bishop b7, but no, there should be something much better here. I think knight b5 just ends it. Oh, wait, knight b5, he takes. That's actually still tricky. Do we have anything better? What if I take and then play knight b5? This position should be winning, but I'm just wondering, like, where is the win? Okay, we could play queen b5, but then he just plays... Well, queen c6 I trade. That looks good. All right, we'll play queen b5 here, actually. I like this the best. I'm sure I had other moves as well. Queen c6 still impossible because I take and I play bishop b7. Has to play queen d7 to protect his queen, but then I play knight e5, and I get his dark squared bishop. So, dude avoided losing material. Well, what is he doing? It's over. He's not even losing an exchange here. He's just losing a full piece. All right, there. I guess he's going to try to get his... yeah, he's going to try to get the bounty over here. Yeah, how are we going to win this? Okay, let's play king d2. Takes. Let's start by throwing in a check. Then I'm going to play knight h4 just to collect the bishop. Game is going to be over here. Once I get the bishop, this knight is definitely dead. I could have also played b3 there, actually, but b3, maybe he plays knight c2. Yeah, this is definitely over. It's time to go, pal. From one Brazilian to another. From a Birdmaster to an anime character. It's time to go. Yeah, that profile pic reminds me of my time in Japan. Japan was an amazing country. Like, sadly, most of my time in that country was spent indoors working on this course, but I'm still able to walk around so much, and Tokyo is such a beautiful city. Tokyo is an amazing city. Tokyo is probably my favorite city on earth. Really, really cool city. Okay, I'm just taking. Playing b3, gonna play bishop a3 next. Yeah, let's start by throwing in a check. Oh, I guess you could play knight e4. I don't really see what knight e4 even does though. Okay, if I play bishop a4, he plays knight e4, I just take. He could play knight c2 there, but then I just play bishop c5. Like, his knight is still nowhere close to getting out. And I can always play bishop c5 when I want, just to keep this file shut. Notice his bishop is still bad here. Like, materially speaking, he has much bigger problems, but positionally speaking as well, he's suffering. This bishop is terrible. Knight c2. All right, I mean, we could just take here. Knight e4, I have bishop b2. Am I missing something? I don't think I'm missing anything. Knight e4, I play bishop b2. That's the end of the game. Bishop b4 is also nice, actually. Bishop b4, I guess he has bishop f8. No, I could just throw in a check there. I like bishop b4 more, honestly. This check could be very annoying in some positions. I think the game is just over here. All right. I didn't even have a chance to move there. He just ended immediately. Let's get to the game review. Time for some classic world-famous Birdmaster analysis here. 89.6, I'll take it. It's equal here? Are you joking? How is it equal? What are you kidding? If he plays knight e4? Oh, wow, I'm not calculating anything. Look at this. Check here and takes, and I mated. I completely missed that. I was just seeing here, and I thought I was going to take the rook, and everything was going to be fine. I was just completely miscalculating. Okay. Yeah, so in this position, if they play c6 and d5, and they've already committed their bishop here, you should take. And the reason why is their bishop is going to look really silly being pointed into the stone wall here. Bishop should be over on this diagonal. So knight c6, knight c3, and he's okay here, but he needs to be very patient and not move this bishop, because otherwise my queen is going to come to b3 and hit these pawns here. Should have played knight f6 here. Instead, he got frisky and he played bishop f5, queen b3. Already now he's in trouble. e6 is another mistake. He should just prioritize getting castled. Something like takes rook c8. He has some compensation here. Oh, sorry, no, bishop b5 here. What am I thinking of? Maybe is it queen c8? Knight a5. I've looked at this before. I just couldn't remember the exact theory. But yeah, suffice it to say, if you're winning b7, you are doing better. It's just going to be a little tricky. All right, so we take queen c8, bishop a6, and yeah, now he's in trouble. Bro plays knight e7. I don't really think he can do anything. If he plays this knight to e7, what should I do? I should just take. Oh yeah, no, wait, what am I talking about? I take, and if he takes with the rook, I take this way, and if he takes with the knight, we get the same tricks as before. He plays knight e7. Okay, this is good to see. I found the best move here, queen b5. Hitting his queen. Dude is in trouble here. If he plays queen d7, we play knight e5. We force this queen to make a trade. And if he takes this way, which actually he has to, because I'm thinking about it, if his queen makes a trade here, knight takes, this is going to be bad. Also, bishop takes. Yeah, he's just losing on the spot here. Look at that. This, he gets forked. If he does this, then there's a discovery. And he's losing this mango. Yeah, so dude is in a lot of trouble here. And the thing is that if he takes, well, look at how many pawns he's put on light squares. Trading off his dark squared bishop for a knight is going to be fatal. From the get-go, he can't even develop here, right? Like if he plays knight h6, we play e4, and one of these is going to drop. So dude is in a lot of trouble here. I can't believe I messed this up, honestly, though. This is not a bird game to be proud of. This is all completely winning. Everything is good here. b3 is a little dubious. I don't know why. I think actually b3 is fine. b4 would be better. Why didn't I play b4? Look at that. Rook c8, b5. There's nothing to even discuss here. I'm just going to play bishop a3 next. Bishop keeps the seal. The bishop keeps the c-file sealed completely shut at the moment. So this looks perfect. Did I play b3? Oh, but that's crazy that I made that blunder. I shouldn't have made that blunder. Yeah, I just completely, I don't know. I'm just not calculating. I was going to play this. I think probably if he had checked here, I would have realized the issue and I would have moved my king back. But yeah, in my calculations, I thought I could do this. And my rationale was, you know, if he takes somewhere like here, well then, like at the end of the day, his pieces are so bad here. I could play something like knight d6. I could also take on a1. Yeah, something like knight d6 takes and king c3. This should be over here. Or what does it like more? Does it like knight b5? Yeah, knight b5, rook a2, knight c3. Now the rook is completely trapped here. Rook b1. That's really funny. I'm not sure how exactly I'm going to win. I guess I'm going to play rook b2 to cover rook a2 and then finally trap the rook with knight b5 or knight b1. Really banana stuff. But yeah, so he missed this. This is shocking. So okay, he missed it. He missed it, he plays knight c2, and now I'm just winning. Yeah, I'm just still at the piece here. Yeah, that was a smooth game, but I definitely could have played that better. That was... I'm a grandmaster. I shouldn't be making blunders like that. If I'm +5 in a position, I shouldn't be blundering the game back to equality. All right, but good news, we got another bird. And we're heading up there. Haven't seen many Fromm's Gambits lately. I think the news is starting to spread that Fromm's Gambit is the equivalent of giving your opponent some free elo. I'll put the bishop on b2 soon. This is maybe the first time I'm actually looking at these pieces. What is the deal with this bishop's legs? Why does the bishop, like what are those things? Those look like a little cape that the bishop has. I never noticed that. I've probably looked at this, like at these pieces for like, I don't know, like 10,000 hours over my lifetime, and I've never noticed the fact that the bishop has like these two weird octopus tentacles or whatever. I don't know what's going on with that. Let me know in the comments if you know what those are. I'm very confused. Just play bishop e2 here, can't play bishop e5, so we'll happily put the bishop on b2 or on e2. Yeah, gonna play knight e5 soon. This should be completely fine. Yeah, let's play d3 here. Gonna play knight d2, knight f3. Man plays queen c7, then he's losing control over this, and I should have other tricks. Objectively speaking, like, it would have been nice to put my bishop on d3, but the problem then is that the knight could always come to b4. He's doing that. We could take on d7 already, but let's play knight d2. I don't see what these moves are going for. I got this position in the past, and I was supposed to play a4, so I should do it. I tend to like going for like a gung-ho king-side attack. I don't like wasting time on the queen side, but objectively speaking, you should play a4 just to maximize your chances. All right, he's playing knight f5. Bro is being really sneaky with it. Let's play, we could even try g4 here. We could definitely play g4. g4, d4. Then actually that gets a little tricky. Let's play bishop f3. Keep d4 at bay. The whole problem with g4, d4 is I didn't want to play e4, and e4 is the natural thing, but because I'd already pushed the pawn to g4 in that situation, I would be weakening the dark squares too much. Like if we get a position like this with d4, e4, then it's good to have the option of playing g3 there. Hence my hesitance. Queen e1. Covering this pawn, but also just supporting g4. He could, if he plays d4, I'm getting an exchange at least. d4 positionally is very good for him though, because he's getting the e3 square for his knight, so it's definitely some risky business here. All right, now you don't have to ask me twice. I will play g4 now. We're getting it with the tempo. It has to be good. g4, knight e7, g5, takes. Dude, he is in trouble. He is in trouble. That looks very, very dangerous for him now. Like, wait, so yeah, knight e7, g5, takes. He plays knight h7. I could throw in the, no, I can't play g6. What am I talking about? I can't play g6 just yet. You know, I want to play g5, but I want to keep this pawn on f4 to cement this knight in place. So you know what I'm going to do? We're going to play knight, if they play knight e7, we'll play h4 and then just push g5. This looks good. Then we're keeping our structure intact. We'll take with the h-pawn if need be. This looks good. And now by g5 takes, if h takes, I have ideas of queen h4, rook f2, rook h2. The fact that I don't have an h-pawn on the board is going to make an attack down the h-file so much smoother. This is going to be good. Strategically speaking, I think he has to play d4 just to try to buffer this diagonal, because there's just too much pressure here. Okay, well now, yeah, now he's in trouble. I think that's, he's not going to have time for that. He should have played d4 immediately, and now he can't play d4 even more so because he's losing a full rook. He's not just sacrificing the exchange. Knight d7. All right, I guess he's planning on playing knight f5. Dude wants to play knight f5. If we play queen h4, he plays knight f5. Yeah, that's a little tricky. I could play knight g4. Play knight g4, the idea of going to f6. We can also get the rook over to h2. Am I missing something here? I guess he wants to take and sort of fragment my pawns up. I think knight g4 is best. This is going to be interesting to look at with the computer. Definitely once we look at this in the Birdmaster analysis, it's going to be more clear what I should actually do in this position. I think white is much better here, though. But just very, very tricky stuff. B4, oh, I think that's too slow. So if I play queen h4, he's going to get knight f5 with the tempo. I would rather wait until queen h4 is going to come with threats of mate. So we're going to play rook f2 to go to h2 first. I could have also played king g2 with rook h1. That would have been a little better because then this rook would be free to move in much quicker. Yeah, this is confusing stuff. Okay, there. What is he going to sacrifice? All right, I'll just play rook h2. I don't see what he's even doing with this. I don't think that sacrifice is going to work. If he takes, I just take, and then he takes with the queen. I play queen h4. I'm threatening mate here. I'm also threatening discoveries. Knight f5. All right, can we just play queen f1 and queen h3? Wait, what about knight f6, actually? Because the thing is here, if he has time for rook d8 and king f8, he might be getting out. Well, I'm not actually sure if he really... Yeah, this is confusing stuff. I don't know. We play e4, he plays bishop takes. I'm probably winning there as well, but it's going to be a bit trickier. Let's think about it. Knight f6, they take with the pawn. We take with the pawn. We're playing rook g2. I think queen f1 just wins on the spot. Queen f1, rook e8, queen h3. He has to get his king out to f8. Is he holding on there? I could at least play bishop takes g7 in that position, or I could check. I could play knight f6 there, actually. Yeah, I think knight f6 ends the game. All right, we'll go for that. Knight d4. That doesn't need, I don't even see what that does. If I play queen h3, all right, let's take with the bishop, because, okay, of course I could take with the pawn, but I think taking with the bishop is better. Takes, queen h3, threatening mate on both these squares. He has to play f5, and then I play g6. Yeah, that just looks completely over. I could also, of course, take him with the pawn, and that's also fine, but my idea with this is that I'm keeping this even more protected, so he's just farther away from it working. Like, I guess his idea was that if I take this way, he's taking here, and he might get my rook. This way, though, on the other hand, he's just nowhere close to upsetting anything. And, you know, you could say that this is a heavy investment to make, but he just doesn't have enough left to do anything. We'll just take here. This is not going to go well for him. All right, I'll just play queen h3. Oh, he's going to take on d4. I got to be a little careful. Let's just play... Yeah, wait, where is the win here? Bishop e3, queen g3, rook g2. I'm up 2 pieces there. That's completely over. No need to complicate things. Queen g3, rook g2. If his queen moves back, I even have knight f6, and the attack... Is it recommence or recommences? That's a word I've only ever read. I've never had to say that word out loud. All right, here... Let's play knight f6. Take with the pawn. This is completely over. g6, I just take. His queen is hanging. All right, we'll take. Has to play king h8. And I guess his idea after king h8... I like bishop e4 a lot. Look at that. Bishop e4. He can't take any longer. He still can't do any checks. If he takes here, I take this way, and then he can't even pin. He is going to get checkmated here. Queen h5. All right. Where is the checkmate here? There must be a checkmate. Let's just play king g2. Queen h1 is going to end it. Dude has nothing to do. I guess he could play rook g8, but then I still play queen h1. It's still going to be over very soon. All right, I'll just play queen h1, man. It's time to go. Could play rook h1 next. Nice, that's a good win. I want to see that game review. I feel like I played that well. I feel like I definitely got above 90. Nice. Okay, that's wild. Why is it only 83, but it's pretty much a perfect graph? Like, okay, did I have mate in 4? I had mate in 4 here. I could have played queen h3. Why didn't I just play queen h3? I was so focused on getting the knight, I didn't even... Yeah, if he takes here, we just take back. I don't know. Don't ask me why I didn't see that, guys. All right. Okay, so here, everything is fine. Notice that he's committed his bishop here. This is a bad score for the bishop, but the flip side is that we really can't play bishop e5 here, so we're going to have to settle for one of these other squares. c5, bishop e2. Yeah, you could also try bishop d3 in these positions, but then they might just pawn storm you, and you're technically giving them some free tempi. It's definitely not the end of the world. Like here, it's still 0.14. Completely fine for white, but bishop e2 just looks a little more accurate. Okay, apparently this chess.com computer is saying bishop d3 is better. But the way that I've understood it is that your bishop is ultimately just a little bit weak here. The knight on b4. The knight could always come to b4. They could always play b5 and c4. It's a little bit vulnerable. All right, so bishop e2. What happened here? I castled. Castling is natural. We play knight e5. And yeah, this is just a classic idea here. We're going to play bishop b2, install the knight on e5. It looks a little ambiguous what this bishop is doing, but often it's going to come to f3 to slice through here. Normally, these are like the two main squares your bishop is going to go. If you can't go to this red square over on b5, you would go to the golden square on f3. Black plays knight c6, d3. Apparently bishop f3 is best. Yeah, computer often sees that there's like some slight issue about pushing d3 at the wrong time. I never really saw the difference, and I don't think any of my opponents ever did as well. It's like a very inhuman preference, but like the idea is that when you play d3, you are weakening e3 slightly, so in some positions they might be able to play d4 and knight d5. Is that the end of the world? No, but it gives them some ideas. Opponent plays b5. Yeah, this is a bit dubious. He needs to fight against the e5 blockade. So computer is saying d4 is one idea, just to block my bishop. Another idea is queen c7. Another idea is bishop e8. Bishop e8 also makes sense. The knight is going to come to d7. All of these would have made sense. Instead, my opponent plays b5. I play knight d2. Man plays knight e7. Knight e7 is dubious. His knight is coming to f5. Probably he should play c4 here. c4 looks like a good idea to free his bishop. Yeah, I'm not sure if computer likes c4. Oh, sorry, what am I talking about? I can take here for the moment. Yeah, that doesn't do anything just yet. Some positions c4 is a good idea, but here it doesn't work. Yeah. Instead, computer just wants him to really fight against this blockade. The whole idea is that if we have to trade everything here, he will be able to push e5, and he'll be okay. And this is one of those interesting positions here. Normally, this type of thing can only be good for white, but that's if your bishop is on one of these squares or if it's been traded. As it stands, it's actually on the worst square because it's in the way of our queen. Like if it was on d3, it would be perfect. We could play queen h5. If it was on d3, it would be perfect. We could play queen h5, play queen g4, slip the rook over from f3 into h3. Here, on the other hand, it's just going to take so much longer. This definitely isn't the end of the world. You could play this position if you want. But it's not nearly as good as if this bishop were anywhere else. All right, so my opponent plays knight e7 though. I could take. That's interesting. So I was actually thinking about this. I could take and play e4. This is a classic idea. Notice especially here, I've gotten rid of his light squared bishop, so if he ever plays d4, something like e5 and bishop f3 is going to be fine for white, if not much better. You just have to be a little bit careful. Probably e4 is not the best just yet because e4 does give his knight access to these two squares to finally go in and drill into e3. So we should be a bit more patient with it. But the idea is like long term here, he's going to eventually have to align his pawns on the dark squares, and that is not going to harmonize with the fact that he does not have a light squared bishop any longer. All right, so I played bishop f3, slight inaccuracy there, knight f5, queen e1, covering e3, also covering h4 to make sure g4 works. Man plays h6. I was wondering what I would do if d4, like, okay, of course I can take the exchange here. Okay, computer's just saying that I'm like close to winning here. I thought that he'd have some compensation here though, because the board is very closed at the moment. Okay, now, but looking at it, actually now I understand. I can open the position up with stuff like this. Knight e4. I don't know, even here, this looks a little practically difficult. I think black still has plenty of practical chances here because his knight is getting into e3. He has an open file to pressure c2 from. Computer is saying I'm just much better here, but you know, in a practical game with the knight drilling into e3, you got to be careful. Can't rest on your laurels here. All right, so I played g4, played h4. We're just going to start encroaching. I was already thinking about playing g5, but the difference here is that now the control of this square is really undermined, right? There are going to be ideas even of them like taking and playing knight g6 and then just slowly playing e5 to buffer everything. I guess in this exact position, there's something wrong with this, but normally though, normally black would have this as an option. Like for instance here, I guess he just plays knight h7, h4. The computer's saying f5, f6. f6 makes a lot of sense. We have to trade off our good pawn. We have to fix his position. He could take with the knight. Computer's actually saying he could take with literally anything here, and it would be okay for him. But yeah, once I lose the g-pawn, I don't really have any advantage in space there, and I'm not going to have like a real advantage. It's still not the end of the world here. Like both sides have weaknesses now on their king side. It wouldn't be that white is necessarily worse here, but it's not going to be great. We need to keep that g-pawn alive. Yeah, so h4, I want to push g5 and take back with the h-pawn. Man plays bishop c8, g5, takes, and yeah, he is just, he's getting in trouble here. So knight g4 is good. That's good to see. I was thinking about queen h4, but then he just plays knight f5. He's hitting these. And something I also didn't like about this is that whenever he takes here now, if I have to take with the f-pawn, g5 is going to drop. And already now I'm probably a little worse. Yeah, computer is not liking this. He's threatening this. He's threatening this. He also has ideas of something like that. This ain't good. So I played knight g4. I kept my pawns intact. No trades on e5 today. No trades on e5 for you, sir. Man plays b4. It seemed like he really just didn't know what to do at this point. Probably he should play knight f5 just to try to get his pieces somewhere, but I'm still going to just slide my pieces over. I'll play rook f2 to go to h2. And yeah, something like this will happen. We'll put the queen on h3 anyway. This is still really, really tough for them. I also have ideas of king f2 and queen h1. This knight on g4 is really superb. This is definitely something you want to keep in mind. Normally the knight transfers here. Normally it's the queen's knight that transfers here via d1, f2 to g4. And when your bishop is coordinated for a kingside attack here, it's extremely useful. This knight is superb here. Like, pause the video to really appreciate how good it is. It's a fantastic piece. It has ideas of knight f6 for tricks, knight h6 for tricks. It completely shutters in e5, which is their thematic break. They want to achieve e5 if they want equality. More than that, it covers e3 and it defends our king. This is one of the best squares you could place this knight on the board if you're playing for a kingside attack over here. There are going to be some positional games where you're not playing for a kingside attack, and in those positions the knight does not need to be on g4. In fact, the knight would probably be inaccurate on g4. But if you have your pawns like this, especially with regards to this phalanx here, this phalanx meshes perfectly with the knight on g4. All right, yeah, and so after this, I think the game just ended. Yeah, he sort of panicked here. Knight d4, there was no need for me to take. I should have just played queen h3. This is why the computer docked me so many points and gave me 80% accuracy, because I feel otherwise it was a perfect game. All right, and yeah, and this is just over.
It's time to go!